This is Dr. Laurie Santos from the Happiness Lab, and this message is brought to you by Simple Mills. Simple Mills packs nutrient-dense ingredients into snacks that taste amazing, like their cheesy, light, and airy Pop-Ums, or their 5 different delicious flavors of almond flour crackers, lifting you up, never weighing you down, so you can keep shining through the day. You could say Simple Mills is the feeling of the sun in a snack. Find Simple Mills at your grocery store.
Hello, Hamtramck. It's Beautiful Anonymous. 1 hour, 1 phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know you, and you'll get to know me.
Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here, and I know not everybody loves a long intro. This one's pretty long. We're going to skip about 9.5 minutes. That'll put you right towards the beginning of the call. Enjoy it. Hi, everybody. Chris Gethard here. Welcome to another episode of Beautiful Anonymous. It's lovely to talk to you. I feel so lucky that we still get to do this show. We are in year 10 of Beautiful Anonymous, and we're always trying to grow. We're always trying to survive. We're a scrappy show. Nobody ever believed in this show, man. And that's true. One of the people who used to run Earwolf told me that they only recorded it, the pilot, to get me to shut up about the idea, and they wanted me to move on to other ideas, and then it exploded in all of our faces, and now a decade later, here we are, still having human conversations, still having empathetic moments, still trying to connect with each other, still building a community around the idea that long conversations are ones you can settle into and enjoy. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Thanks for letting me be a part of your experience. It's a joy to know you fall asleep to this, or fold laundry to this, or listen to this after you drop your kids off at school and you're riding back home. And I mean that so sincerely, so sincerely. A lot of reflection 10 years in, and the overall predominant feeling I have about Beautiful Anonymous is, man, what a cool gig. What a lucky break that I ever got to do this. What else do we need to talk about? I don't think too much. We don't need to belabor any points. That show is at UCB for the New Yorkers. I'm doing a show with my friend Tremaine Alston for the New Yorkers. Those tickets are on sale right now. I got booked in March to headline the Cannon Beach Comedy Festival out in Oregon. That should be lovely. It's a beach 75 miles away from Portland, Oregon. Go check that out. And I'll be in Edinburgh, Scotland, teaching some improv workshops at the Edinburgh Improv Fest. And then I'll be at an improv festival in April in Mainz, Germany. I don't know what's going on with improv all of a sudden, everybody, but it's not as reviled. There's been a stretch where it was picked on as much as any other art form, probably up to and including ska. And now ska came back. It got cool again. And I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. Improv is on its way back on some level, and I know this because all of a sudden I'm getting asked to go teach at international improv festivals when I have been largely dormant as an improviser for a long time, and I don't know how these people are even necessarily figuring out this is something I'll do, but I like to go travel and see places, so I'll go to Germany, I'll go to Edinburgh, get the bad taste out of my mouth from the last time I did the Edinburgh Fringe Fest, go do something else where I think I'll get a little bit more of the hero's welcome. I'll do that. I'll go check that out. So if you want to know about me and my shows, chrisgeth.com. That redirects you to punchup.live/chrisgethard. And remember, if you wind up at punchup.live and you're ever interested in seeing my shows, enter in your email address. That platform's really doing a good job of trying to help artists be able to get in direct touch with people in the cities where they're trying to go. And I think they have really good intentions. So if you go and you put your email address in there, I can always let you know when I'm coming to your town. And I'd love to do that. Okay, let's talk about this week's episode that you're about to hear. This is our live caller from Detroit, right? Now, this could be easily mixed up because you heard last week's call was a Chicago call with the caller from Detroit. This is the call in Detroit with a caller from Chicago. I think I have that right. Lovely caller. Cool as hell. We were at the Sanctuary in Hamtramck, Michigan. The room was only about half full, but the vibes were still good. I think if you notice, The Chicago show was sold out. The Pittsburgh show was sold out. The energy's big. You're going to hear that in the reactions. This one, if it's a little more subdued, we only sold about half the tickets. I've been performing a long time. This happens sometimes. I was hoping to sell more, but the crowd that was there was locked in and lovely and really good vibes, and you're going to enjoy it. There was also my friend Angela, who's making a documentary about the Chris Gethard show, was in the room. One of the 3 Motor City Mayhem bros, the Pickle Boys, was in the room, went to the Yemen Cafe after the show. The caller from last week's call was in the room, and you will hear updates on how that went. Me and Andrea and the caller from Chicago who lives in Detroit and one of the Pickle Bros went to my favorite restaurant, the Yemen Cafe, after the show. It was a lovely night, and I will not forget it soon. The caller you're about to hear is super interesting, has so much to say. I don't want to spoil too much. I will say, talking about being a construction worker when you don't fit the mold of what being a construction worker usually looks and sounds like, I found really interesting. Being the only type of person generally in an environment, I'm always interested in those stories. And I also think there's something really, really valuable about this that we talked about, but I want to underline in the intro, which is we're in a phase right now where we are all really aghast at how divided we have all felt and looking for ways to come back together. And this caller talks a lot about giving people space and grace to be who they are, say things that maybe internally make them cringe a little bit or take a deep breath, but also remembering that fundamentally seeing the values of people and understanding who they are and where they come from, not to justify or excuse stuff that comes out of their mouth, but to try to form some level of understanding to figure out how to meet them where they're at, meet them in the middle perhaps. I thought it was cool. It's something I've been thinking about and struggling with a lot lately. And I thought it was something that was really cool to hear a real world example of. I won't reveal too much more than that. I will say that I feel so lucky to do this. If you want more with this caller and all of our callers and you want your episodes ad free, sign up at beautifulanonymous.com. And in the meantime, enjoy the call.
Thank you for calling Beautiful Anonymous. A beeping noise will indicate when you are on the show with the host.
What the fuck is going on? He's like, yeah, you're cousin Kathy. I'm his son. I was like, I've met her like 10 times in the 45 years I've been on Earth. This is weird, man. So, like, it was packed out, but I know that meanwhile, here, my friends Randy and Jessica are here. I was the fucking reverend at their wedding. Abdul is here. He was one of the Pickle Boys from that crazy-ass show we did a few years ago, if any of you are here. My friend Angela is here, who I've known for like 15 years now, who's making a documentary on the old public access show. And someone else who I just met today and became buddies with is here. And I cannot wait to tell you the story of what I've been up to today. Because something really, really strange and I would argue kind of magical happened. And I either today made one of the best decisions I've ever made or one of the worst. And I haven't had enough time to process it. And I think you're all going to help me decide. And this is true. This is really true. So it was really strange. So last night we were at the Hideout in Chicago, and the caller got on the line. Call went really great, really great, really great. And one of the first things that the caller said, and this has never happened, she was like, it's funny, I live in Detroit. I actually have tickets for the show tomorrow. And I was like, wait, I'm talking to you tonight, and then we're going to be in the same. That's the quickest turnaround on meeting a caller in the history of Beautiful Anonymous. Oh, also, before I even get into, is there anyone, because this happens sometimes, is there anyone here who doesn't know what Beautiful Anonymous is? Maybe you just came with a friend, accompanied them? Okay, thank you so, only one person. Oh, thank goodness. Only one person willing to raise their hand. Was it explained to you what the show is?
I Googled it.
You did? And did Google explain that, like,
Anonymous callers,
yeah.
have like really meaningful or deeper funny stuff.
Like, sometimes it's funny, and then sometimes people tell me the most fucked up shit I've ever heard, and I can make you no promises. And whoever this friend is who brought you, they owe you a lot for even coming with them tonight, because who knows?
In fairness, I'm studying clinical psychology.
Oh, you're studying clinical psychology. Well, I got to tell you, if you're studying clinical psychology, I am a good case study in many ways, via this show and otherwise. So I'm on the phone with the caller last night. She's like, I'm going to be at the show tomorrow. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. That's never happened ever. That's wild. And then we have a great call. And the call, you'll hear it someday. It dealt with a bunch of things. And I would say the thing we talked about the most was that she's a tattoo artist. And we had all sorts of questions for her, both me and the crowd. And it was this lovely laid-back conversation. And at one point, I was talking about how I have a couple tattoos and how on this arm I have a Smith's lyric and Morrissey's signature, and that I don't regret them outright. But if you guys don't know Morrissey, every few years now, Morrissey will just be like, all immigrants should get out of England. And I'm like, no, like he's one of those fucking guys. And and I thought about maybe getting it covered up or removed, but I realized maybe what I need to do is have something on that arm that's not just Morrissey themed. And she and I were talking about that, and we're getting some laughs off of it in the call. And at some point, it kind of organically was like, do you have any ideas on what you would put? And I was like, I told her, so my son, he's about to turn 7, and he's proving to be like a good little visual artist, like a lot, and not just me and my wife, like other people see it and they're like, he's only 6. It's kind of like a cool drawing for a 6-year-old. I'm like, yeah, no, he's onto some stuff. He gets really into it. And there was one day where every day he comes home from school and in his backpack is his little folder and his homework's in there and the stuff they worked on. And a lot of it is his art. And one day I pulled out this piece of art and it was this crazy ass drawing. It was of an insane bullhead with horns, really gnarly teeth, and blood dripping from its eyes. It was so fucked up. I was like, what the fuck is this? And he doesn't really, he's learning to read. He's getting better by the day, but he's not there yet. So there was like a message under it it was clearly to be like, draw a picture and write why you drew the picture. And I was able to read through, like a solid half to 2/3 of the words were wildly misspelled. But I realized what he wrote in his little misspellings was, I drew this scary bull skull floating on a plate because me and my dad like scary things, which is really true. I have some friends here from New Jersey who know, like, in New Jersey, when you're a teenager, you drive around and you go and look at the Devil's Tree, which is a haunted tree, and Clinton Road, the most haunted road in America. And that I worked at this magazine called Weird New Jersey that chronicled all that stuff. And I take my son around to some of these places and we really connect on the scary things. And I told her that, and she was like, what are you doing tomorrow before the show? And I was like, sounds like I'm coming to your tattoo shop. So I went today before the show to a place in Ferndale. I think if I remember, it's the most random name of a shop, but and Katie said I could mention. She's a great artist. Future Laser Tiger, I believe, is the shop. Incredible place, incredible artist. It's so good to see her, and I have to show you guys what I did today. Have not told my wife that this happened yet. Have not told my son that this happened yet. But my son has no idea that when I come home that this is now on my arm. In between Morrissey and a lyric from his song, I Know It's Over. Did Katie not fucking... That is exact... When I tell you that's exactly how Cal drew... And Randy, look at these blood drops from his fucking eyes, man. Have you ever fucking seen... My son might be a psychopath. Look at that. That's legit fucking nuts, man. If you were wandering through the woods and like came up on an abandoned building and that was drawn on the wall, you would run away. You know you would, man. My kid is a fucked up brain and I have it immortalized on my arm. And how do you think my family is going to be into it, or are they going to be like, that's a fucking wild choice? Like, who thinks the first one, into it? Who thinks like that's a wild choice? Look at that. All right. Look at this. We got on the same page, Hamtramck. And I do just have to say thank you again so much, Katie. And what an epic day. I've always said, and if you've been listening to the show for a while, you know, I've always said, like, Beautiful Anonymous legitimately changed my life in so many ways. First of all, I've had a job for 10 years. Thank you all for that. As an artist, you don't get to have a job for 10 years straight. And we're doing this tour because we're on year 10. So thank you for all that. It'll be our 10th year anniversary in March. But also, it made me a more empathetic person. It made me a better listener. It made me somebody who was really chasing comedy dreams in a way that was driven by the achievements that come along with trying to become notable and attain higher levels of fame, which felt like the ladder I was on, and gave me this other track where I did not need to fucking worry about that and got to connect with people instead. Really made me a better person. And today, Katie and I were saying, we were talking about this, and I was like, now it has literally permanently altered my physical reality as well in a way that it hasn't before. And we're going to see how I feel when I wake up in the morning. But right now, I think I'm making nothing but fantastic life choices. That's what I think. Okay. I also, so we do this thing where the show, for much of its existence, it was just the show. And then we went independent about 1.5 years ago, I think, 2 years ago. And now we have a paywall. And thank you. Some of you are on it. That's nice of you. And we do a thing where at the end of each episode, behind a paywall, we ask people random questions. And we always do that with the caller. And then we ask the caller to leave their own question. And then that gets added to the list. And I forgot to do that last night, which you didn't even mention when we were doing our tattoo. Do you want to give me or do you want to just DM me the question so as to not totally blow up your spot? Or you can say it now. Or we can do it at the end, whatever you want. Let's do it. You think on it during the show. We'll make sure we get that in. Some other things I want to let you know is that, the live shows, we try to make sure that it's not just you guys sitting and listening to me talking to a disembodied voice. I want it to feel like we're coming together as a community. I like the idea. I've always been very impressed that Beautiful Anonymous is the show that's just me, unqualified guy, talking to random people, but it somehow still feels like a community, especially right now. I think we can all agree community is vitally important. Like, it's getting really, really scary out there. So the idea to be in a room with other people who go, empathy is something that is entertaining and on any level important in my life. I feel fucking safe with you guys. I want it to be an interactive conversation. We used to use Twitter to do that. It used to be like, hey, we come up with a hashtag and then tweet at me during the show if you got questions for the caller. But I think you guys would all agree. Problem with Twitter is that it's owned by a fucking psychopath. It's owned by a real maniac who I think is bad for society. And I believe earlier today, it was revealed that even though he was someone that was gleefully pushing for the release of the Epstein files, as soon as they were released in any big, meaningful way, there were emails of him emailing and being like, oh, so you're a fucking psychopath and a pedophile. Wow, I think I'm done with Twitter, for real. Okay. So what we do now is we set up an email address. And what I usually do is I set up an specific email inbox for every individual show. And I'm really not thrilled about what I have to tell you guys. I need to be clear. I'm not thrilled, and I'm not doing this to fuck with you, but I went to go and make a Detroit-specific email address today on Gmail, and Gmail flagged it and was like, you've been making too many email addresses. So I wasn't sure what to do. So we're just going to have to, and I know, and I'm not in any way trying to put Detroit in a bad position or in any way say that Detroit is in the shadow of another Midwestern city. But if you have any questions for the caller or reactions to how things are going, please use your phone and email the address beautifulanonymouschicago@gmail.com. Don't be mad at me. It's a clinical error. It is a logistical thing. I got flagged by the algorithm gatekeepers that be. So I'm going to ask, if you plan on participating in the show, go ahead, get your phone out right now. And my suggestion is actually just write down that email address, beautifulanonymouschicago@gmail.com, copy it, so you can just paste it anytime you want to send in a question. And if you start sending them now, it'll help because I'll know that things are working. I think the vibes in here are warming up to a degree, not totally. I'm also not sure. Andrea, are you back in the house yet? Oh, we're good. So we're good when you are. That's great to know. Before we get to the call, we've been doing something on the live shows that I've really loved, which is, like I mentioned, we got this huge, Maria. The very first email that came in has nothing in the content, it's just the subject of Blackhawks suck, which is the fact that Detroit was forced to use a Chicago-themed email address and instantly used it to start shit-talking Chicago was beautiful. I will tell you this, again, not trying to get you guys mad, but one of the questions asked of last night's caller was, why do you live in Detroit? So that's what Chicago did to you guys. Why do you live in Detroit? So feel free to just keep fucking with Chicago in the inbox. Okay, you just wrote ready to psychologize you. Yeah, good luck. Many have tried. Many have tried. You psychologize me hard enough, I'll do a fucking HBO special about you. Watch out. You don't know my work. You don't know how this ends. This ends with me talking about you on television. Vince writes, Chicago is dumb, but I hope this works. Yep, email address is working. Well done, Vince. Good, so you guys are in on it. You guys get what's going on. At any point during the call tonight, you can feel free to send questions, send reactions. I think with the live calls, it's always a great moment, and it always helps. In the meantime, we got this list. It's 288 questions long, and I want to use it to get to know the crowd a little bit. So what I do is I have a random number generator. It tells me what question to ask, and I'm hoping that at the end of the show, we'll use it to get to know the caller a little bit as well. But in the meantime, I'm hoping to get to know a few of you a little bit. If anybody wants to answer one of the questions of the list, there's actually a mic set up right over there. We're just going to do a few of them, no more than 5 as per the tradition. But if anybody wants to get on one of the questions, feel free to go over to that mic, and I'll ask you the question, and then we'll all get to know each other a little bit. Is there anybody who wants to give this a shot? Oh, everybody's shy tonight.
I'm not.
I know you're not. Feel free to jump on that mic. Go for it. Oh, and this is a question it's perfect for you. So there's a microphone right there. Go stand on it so they can hear your answer when we record it. And this was left by a caller a while back who escaped from a Christian cult and now sells cars. Really totally on brand for our type of show. And it's amazing that they asked you this question. This feels meant to be. What's one thing you can do to make yourself more mindful?
My research interest is religious trauma.
Holy shit.
I know.
Holy shit.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Are you going for like a doctorate?
I am.
I like your mix of the words research interest and then dropping F-bombs.
I'm probably going to get kicked out of my program. I also teach yoga, so in terms of mindfulness, it's just like...
It sounds a lot like my former shrink. A lot like my former
Yeah, I hope you like them.
I did for many years until she dumped me. She dumped me after 18 years together. It was wild.
Damn.
It's okay. I'm not...
You must have done something crazy.
Well, it was over a dispute regarding $75.
No way.
After 18 years.
No way.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, I can't pay you $75 for you to tell me your correct address. And she was like, we can't work together anymore. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I did my best. Well, how do we increase mindfulness? You study it.
I do. I mean, there's different approaches. One approach is acceptance and commitment therapy. So there's several constructs within that, but one of them that I think is worth highlighting is psychological flexibility. And I think the simplest way of saying that is kind of getting out of binary thinking, so black and white thinking.
Yeah. And again, you have no idea who I am and have never listened to the show.
That's correct.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
This is awesome. You're literally just giving us a dissertation. I love it.
3-minute thesis. That's the short answer. Yeah, I can control myself.
Less thinking of you're bad or good. Less thinking of you've succeeded, you've failed. Yeah. Considering that there's more of a spectrum to life than that.
Yeah, and same with like thinking about other people, right? Like, yeah.
Finding common ground. Mm-hmm. Finding ways to connect over our shared humanity and not assuming our differences mean that we never interact.
Yeah, and being present, right? Focusing on breath. If like the one thing you can control is breathing. If there's nothing else, take a minute and just count your breaths. Count your breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. Just like that nice shit can help. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
How are we? These males really are lonely, right? This loneliness epidemic thing. That's real.
You said the males?
Yeah.
Like, did you mean incels?
I mean, they count. They are male. The male loneliness epidemic. I do think that is code for incels are becoming a growing threat even more than they have. But I'll even say this. I don't think I'm an incel, and I will say I have many stretches of life on a weekly basis where I realize I'm a terrifyingly lonely man. And I'm like active in my community. I'm a dad of a kid at a school. I volunteer. I get to do shit like this. And I still, on a regular basis, am like, I cannot believe how lonely I feel at certain points.
Yeah. I think there's a clinical psychologist named Dr. Saeed Hill, and he studies what people talk about as toxic masculinity, but reframes it as restrictive masculinity. And I think that's a really beautiful way of framing it because it invites men to the conversation of, hey, you're socialized to repress your feelings. And that's fucked up. So why don't we talk about that?
Look at this shit. We're all getting a clinic. I love it. I love it.
I mean, and I'm lonely too. Like, grad school's a terrible place. Oh, I think there was a hand raised.
Oh, no. Did someone raise their hand? I think he was just putting his drink down.
Oh, shit. I'm not trying to hog the mic. So.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, what a stunning contribution to the show. This one got heady fast. Well done. A round of applause. A round of applause.
Thank you so much.
We're still warming up. Yeah, you're good. You're good. You can sit back down. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Tequila.
We also, people are using the email address thus far exclusively to talk shit about Chicago. Kimmy has just written in all caps the words Detroit pizza is better, which I would say is true in my experience. I like Chicago deep dish. I'm not a hater, but in Jersey, there's a bunch of places that have started making the square Detroit style pies, and holy fucking shit. Like, it's hard to get a guy from New Jersey to say other people's pizza is good. Those fucking pies are no joke. And this shit where you do the square pie and sometimes the crust is made out of caramelized cheese, that's not even fucking fair, Detroit. That is not right, and that is not fair. And there's a place called Bucky's in Chatham that's making these things, and they do a fucking cacio e pepe Detroit style with the caramelized cheese, and it's a problem in my goddamn life, and I'm mad at Detroit about it. Let's see. The emails are flying in now. Maria says Chicago pizza is just lasagna. We've got Jesse who says, I prefer Chicago dogs to Coney dogs. Oh, sorry. And then it says, please keep this anonymous so no one beats me up outside. The problem is I said your name first. Apologies for that. Jesse, my bad. Immediately violating your trust. Andrea, who is the producer of our show, does want to shout out Stephen C. Hayes, who is an ACT guy, and I'm glad that we're shouting out our favorite schools of psychological practice. Okay. I think that's good. I think we're good on the questions there, Andrea. I feel like we're ready. Are you guys ready for a phone call? Okay. Are you sure? Because the vibes in here still feel quiet, but I think this is a small but mighty crowd. And like the fact that this happens, this is legit one of the most special days of my life. I can't. Cal is going to fucking love this so much. But here's how I'm going to go home. I'm going to be like, Cal, I'm going to explain to him, like, you made that piece of artwork and it made me feel so good about our friendship and made me feel like you and me had this connection. So I got it permanent on my body. And I'm going to watch his reaction. And then I'm just going to float up to see Hallie's reaction. And when I tell you, the betting, I would not know what to put money on. I don't even understand what her reaction could possibly be to this. Like the fact that the person who I like change in front of and get naked in front of now has to see this for the rest of her life too. That's the fucking best shit I've ever pulled off. And I can't thank you enough. Please. Oh, look at this Windsor-style pizza for the win. Is there another? Wait, there's a specific Windsor, Michigan-style pizza? Windsor, Canada? I'm not trying to fuck with Canadian pizza. Is it really good? Shredded pepperoni, it says? It's that good? Are you the person who wrote the email? Oh, so the person most vehemently defending the email is the author of the email. Let's see. But you sent two. I was about to say we got another one, but no, you. Yeah, no, you did. Okay, so that was not an effort to. Yeah, well, you sent one. Let's see. You sent one email about Windsor-style pizza at 7:55, and then you weren't sure if it went through. And just to make sure, you did send another one at 7:56. And then my friend Abdullah said they're lying. Don't trust Canadians, which I love. Okay. Andrea is pointing out that she was, I did have a FaceTime in the car while we were driving from Chicago where I soft floated the idea that I might get a tattoo today. And Hallie did pretty vehemently say, don't do that. Which I did forget about in the euphoria of doing it. Maria also says, based on me describing my falling out with my therapist, that I bet your therapist was Chicagoan, which is You guys are having a field day clowning on this. Okay, so she's not even here. For the one person who left, it's totally anonymous. It'll go for an hour. I got the clock going, and Andrea, I think, has the caller ready. So whenever you want to hit that shell shag, we can hit that shell shag. Andrea. Hello, Hamtramck. It's beautiful anonymous. 1 hour, one phone call, no names, no holds barred.
I'd rather go one-on-one. I think it'll be more fun, and I'll get to know.
Okay, hello, caller.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, Motor City. How are we doing tonight?
At that, you instantly got the crowd more pumped up than I did in half an hour of trying, of begging them for it.
That was my goal. I was listening to it.
So you could hear me, I imagine, and you were like, he's trying so hard to get them amped up. He's not quite getting there, but I got this shit.
Hell yeah. And, even though I'm calling from a specific city that they have a lot to say about, I'm still rooting for them. I love Detroit.
Are you calling from Chicago?
Oh, hell yeah, I am.
Were you at last night's show by any chance?
No, I missed it.
Look at that. Well, it was
at a
sold
work
out,
event.
so sorry. You were at a work event. So we had a Detroit caller call us in Chicago. We now have a Chicago caller calling us in Detroit. The two cities have actively talked shit about each other 2 nights in a row, and now we all get to live in this weird infinity loop. We're in a weird Fibonacci sequence of Midwestern powerhouse cities. And then, poor old Pittsburgh's going to come along tomorrow, and nobody gives a fuck. It's so nice to talk to you. I do have so much love for Chicago. I was saying last night, it in many ways feels sort of like comedically my second home outside of the New York area.
Yeah, it fucking rocks out here. I'm actually not originally from here either, but, the Midwest rocks. I feel like an anthropologist most of the time.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. So how are you? How's your night going?
My night's going good. I mean, obviously a lot if I'm able to call in on a Saturday night. I'm just chilling.
Is it? I mean, are you going out later, or is this it? This is the whole night.
No, that's the whole night. I went to the movies earlier today, got some lunch, and now I'm back home. I wanted to ask, so I have a tendency to ramble. Does Detroit or you want to establish a word to stop me from talking at any point? Because I can ramble forever.
We have a full hour, so rambling is welcome. But if you want a safe word, everybody's yelling pizza. So if I say pizza, that will be a hint that you might want to wrap it up and lean on me to maybe guide the conversation a little bit. But thank you so much. It's very considerate of you. We've had some ramblers on the show who are not self-aware about it. And then sometimes they'll be talking for literally 9 unbroken minutes, and I have to jump in and be like, what about that one thing you said 6 minutes ago? Let's talk more about that. And I can feel it. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, my therapist might say that I'm a little too self-aware about it, but thought I would extend the courtesy.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So yeah, if you get going too hard and you hear me saying the word pizza a bunch, that's a gentle nudge towards a more conversational back and forth. That being said, what do you want to talk about tonight?
Man, I could go anywhere. I was telling Andrea I have a lot on the docket. I'm turning 25 this year. I'm a woman in construction. I technically worked for the mob in high school. I almost died having sex for one of the first times.
So you almost died?
We're going to talk about movies forever.
Not movies. What did you see today?
I saw a re-release of The Worst Person in the World. If there's any fans out there.
Okay. That's
probably
cool.
Not.
What do you? The two that I think got the biggest gasps in the crowd. I'll leave it to you which we want to do first, but I get the sense from the Detroit crowd that the two they seemed most interested in were what do you mean you worked for the mob in high school, and what do you mean that you almost died having sex? Those are the two that I think people are saying we want to check those boxes first.
Okay, I'll start with the sex story if it's a bummer, and then the high school one is more exciting.
Okay.
If that sounds good with everybody.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I was seeing this person. This was all in 2020 also, by the way, so just like nightmare all around. Young still. I was seeing this person, and it was like one of my first times having sex. I think like my third or fourth time. And things happening as they do. And then he tells me, "Hey, you're bleeding." And I was like, "Oh, it's probably nothing, because everyone says when you first are having sex, you're expected to see a little." And it was pouring out of me, like a lot. And at this point, I was like, "All right, I think you should drive me back to campus." And I don't know why I said that, because I was losing consciousness, like, as that was happening. I get back to campus. I call my public safety, because they had told us during orientation my freshman year that they could drive us to the hospital if we need be. And at the time, I was like, I don't want to draw any attention to myself and, all this stuff. And I called them, and they had me on the phone for 12 minutes as I was bleeding out. And then the ambulance showed up, because they wound up having to call them because they were scared they were going to be held liable if I hemorrhaged in their vehicle. So I get to the hospital, and they can't do an exam on me whatsoever because I'm bleeding so much. And they're like, "Yeah, so you're going to have to be put into emergency surgery." And at this point, it is around midnight Midwest time, and I'm from the East Coast. Now I have to call my parents to let them know that, 1, I'm sexually active, 2, I'm bleeding out, and 3, I'm about to have emergency surgery. So just an all-around interesting experience. And so I had surgery. Turns out I had a tear in my vaginal wall. Still to this day, do not know how it happened.
A tear?
But
you said a tear?
Yeah.
I think I'm not the only one in the room who initially thought you said a pear. And
I wish.
We did briefly think you had an entire piece of fruit up there that you'd forgotten about. So you had a tear, and
Wouldn't that be a plot twist?
That would explain the bleeding, certainly.
Yeah, foreign objects, everything, yeah.
So you had a tear up there, and no one knew how it happened.
Yeah, it just says, I don't know. They stitched it up, and so I lost half of my blood supply, which I don't know if there's any medical professionals in the audience, but at that point, I should have slipped into a coma. And I don't know how. I survived, but I got 2 blood transfusions. I had to wear like a leg catheter thing for like over a week, which was humiliating, but really comedic in its own way too. And yeah, so that was my experience.
Did you see that guy again?
Well, you know what the worst part is I always clowned him for having white sheets and like a white duvet, and this before this even happened. And I was apologizing to him as it was happening. And then I didn't tell him that I had gone to the hospital. And right before I went into surgery, he had texted me saying, "Got the stains out, no worries."
Imagine if he said that and then you fucking died. He would never, ever, it would have traumatized. I mean, everybody's traumatized by this. You most of all, and you were obviously the center of the story, but holy shit, if you died and he had sent that, that is a celibate man for the rest of his life.
It would be so fucking funny. I thought about it as like I literally got out of anesthesia. I was like, well, literally, how do I even approach this? Like, hey, happy to hear that. I actually just got surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but yes, to answer your question, I did still keep seeing him for 5 months after that. I think we were trauma bonded at that point.
I imagine you slept together again then.
Yeah, after everything healed up. And
that
nothing's happened since.
That next time back, though, must be the most nerve-wracking sexual experience anyone could ever have.
We're going to go ahead and pause there because we've got some ads. And thank you to all of the advertisers who helped this show exist. We'll be right back. It's February in New Jersey, and I am officially dealing with depression. It's a thing that happens every winter, and I fought it off for so long this winter, and now I got to admit it's here. And I got to tell you, I am somebody who's been very vocal about the need to take care of your mental health. And I'm very excited to tell you that if you are in the midst of this as well, there's so many options for now. If you got anxiety, depression, ADHD, and if you're feeling like it's more than just a rough patch, right? It's easy to write it off as a rough patch, but those things are real. They're more than a rough patch. Maybe you need to go in a little deep. Maybe meditation's not helping anymore. Maybe working out is not helping anymore. Talkiatry is here, and Talkiatry makes it easy to see a psychiatrist online using your insurance, and it can happen in days. I love so many things about what I was just able to lay out about that business model. Not always easy to find somebody who can see you in a short window. And everybody knows when you're reaching out to these doctors, it's often something that needs to happen sooner rather than later. It's great that the online versions of this service are now dealing with insurance. It's incredible to have the ease of access, and I'm envious of it because I first saw a psychiatrist 24 years ago, 23 years ago, and none of those things were true back then. Talkiatry is making some vital improvements. It's awesome. Talkiatry is a 100% online psychiatry practice that provides comprehensive evaluations, diagnoses, and ongoing medication management for conditions like ADHD, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, OCD, PTSD, insomnia, and more. Unlike therapy-only apps, Talkiatry is psychiatry. It means you're seeing a medical provider who can diagnose mental health conditions and prescribe medication when it's appropriate. All of their 600 plus clinicians are in network with major insurers, so you can use your existing insurance instead of paying monthly subscriptions or out-of-network fees. You will meet with an experienced, licensed psychiatrist who takes the time to understand what's going on, builds a personalized treatment plan, and can prescribe medication when it's right for you. Your care stays consistent and evidence-based. Getting started with Talkiatry, it just takes a few minutes. You complete a short online assessment. You get matched with clinicians who fit your needs and schedule your first visit in days, not months. More than 300,000 patients have already found high-quality psychiatric care through Talkiatry. Head to talkiatry.com/beautiful and complete the short assessment to get matched with an in-network psychiatrist in just a few minutes. That's talkiatry.com/beautiful to get matched in minutes. Financial resolutions are great, but let's be real. Budgets don't reset on January 1st. Between post-holiday credit card bills and getting back to your regular routine, cash is tight. That's why there's Upside. The free Upside app gets you cash back on gas, groceries, and dining, the three things draining your wallet right now. Over 100,000 participating locations means cash back opportunities are everywhere you already go. And yes, it's cash back, not points you'll never use, not credits that expire, money you transfer straight to your bank account. Here's how it works. You open the app, claim an offer, pay with your credit card like normal, you get paid. That's it. You'll earn 3 times more cash back with Upside than with loyalty programs or credit card rewards alone. Users earn $1 million in cash back every single week. And unlike other programs, you can stack Upside with your existing credit card and loyalty rewards. I really think programs like this are a no-brainer at this point in history. I think the way that this one works, where it's just actual cash back, I think Upside is getting it right. I think they're making it easy. I think we're all feeling financial stress. It's become a national dialogue that times are tight and wallets are getting hit hard. So I know that when I use Upside, I feel like I'm doing something simple that's sitting there for the taking that alleviates that pressure and stress, and it's an opportunity. You're going to get gas. why not make a little back in the process of doing so? It's a no-brainer. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code BEAUTIFUL to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code BEAUTIFUL. Thank you again to our advertisers. Now let's get back to the phone call.
That next time back. That next time back, though, must be the most nerve-wracking sexual experience anyone could ever have. Like the last time we did this, you almost died. You in the mood? Like there's no way.
Yeah, I honestly, I think my brain has like blocked it out by now, just out of sheer like uncomfortableness in terms of what the fuck, how can you even address this? Because I couldn't even do anything for like a month, you know, in terms of penetrative, if that's the word, things. So it was just like, all right, going right back into it, you know, get into the swing of things.
And it's never happened again.
No, everything's good. And I mean, now I have realized within the past 2 years I'm gay, so I also don't really have to deal with men entering me anymore. So that's really nice.
I don't know if you need to be going for a PhD in psychology to wonder if these incidents might have, wondering if maybe these might be there might be some trauma associated with male penetrative sex but who knows? Who knows? I'm kidding.
You and my therapist would get along really well.
I mean, that's amazing. I'm glad that's not how you went out. I'm glad that's...
Me too. Isn't that so fucking humiliating? Most of my family doesn't even know that it happened to me, because how the fuck do you even start that conversation with your grandma? Like, I was seeing this guy from Bumble and he almost killed me with his dick. Yeah.
We have some questions coming in from the crowd. I just want to ask one. I would not have thought of it. Maria in the crowd once. Maria Maria, are you here? Maria, you know the question. It's an important question. I'm going to let Maria ask it.
But did you finish?
Did you finish?
No.
Oh.
That's the most fucked up part about it all. That's the most fucked up part about it all.
That's not the most fucked up part about it. The most fucked up part is the time that half your blood left your body. That's the most fucked up part.
I don't know. That's not very feminist of you, Chris.
I want you coming. I want you coming. Nobody wants this from me, by the way. Nobody wants this conversation from me. But yes, I would just argue the most fucked up part is the near-death aspect of it. Same level. Okay, women in the crowd are telling me that. I do guess if you have sex and it kills you and you don't come, that is truly a sad way to go out. Truly,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm the advert for, like, you know, in Catholic school, the people that they bring in to warn you against having premarital sex. Like, I'm the horror story that they fucking tell.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. I'm glad you made it through.
Thank you. Me too. Yeah, I am happy.
Yeah. And Maria, thank you so much for that very, very important question. And I feel like it, in many ways, thank you for you asking and letting me off the hook on that. Caller, we might return to that topic. Who knows? But I do know that one other thing that I think we have to get to is people want to know your associations with the mob.
Yeah. So, I'm from an area of the country very similar to yours. So it's really not that strange. But when I tell people out here in the Midwest, they look at me like I'm fucking insane. So I was in high school, like 16 years old, give or take, and I was trying to find like a summer job or something. And I knew somebody that worked at this like roller skating rink near my house, which is like very infamous for, you know, you go there to have your first kiss or like insane fights break out, birthday parties when you were a kid, just a mess, you know? And so they're like, yeah, you could work there. You don't have to worry about bringing your papers, whatever. So it was all off the books, all in cash. I started working there and they were like, yeah, you seem pretty reliable. So like, do you want to start bartending? At 16, 17 years old.
They had a bar at the roller rink?
Oh yeah. Full bar at the roller rink.
It seems like a bad combination. Alcohol and roller skates.
I cannot even describe the things I saw within my 2 or so years there.
Great.
Just, yeah, it's a miracle I didn't see anybody die, honestly. I've seen close, but not quite.
Okay, so it sounds to me like this operation was some sort of money laundering front for the mob. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what I believe to this day. And I started bartending. The entire time I worked there, the liquor license was expired. There is no way in hell we ever passed a health inspection. Like, we had termites in the game room. It was just so uncleanly. It smelled horrible all the time. And then at the beginning of every shift, my manager would come in, and he had a very stereotypical Italian name. I won't say it, just, for my safety, guys.
Yeah, no,
and
you're anonymous, by the way. That only ends with me getting shaken down.
True. And you're still over there, so I'll tread lightly. Yeah. But he would come in at the beginning of the shift with knapsack, like a drawstring of just envelopes of cash, just straight up for our, tills for the beginning of the night. And then afterwards, we would, do our draw and, do all that stuff, tally it up, hand it right back to him. He would put it right in his drawstring and then walk right out. And that was normal. And he also owned a string of tanning salons as well. So, I mean, it just kind of is all written in the stars.
I'm going to guess you grew up either in Jersey, maybe the Philly area, or maybe the Providence, Rhode Island area.
Wrong about all three.
Really? Those are the hubs.
Yeah.
I would say those are the traditional hubs of activity like that.
I think you're missing one important one.
New
Close
York?
to home at that.
I said Jersey or New York. Wait, Jersey?
Yep. No, New York.
Oh, New York. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
But the forgotten part, I'll say that.
Okay, got it. I've been hanging out. I don't know if I mentioned this on the show recently, but Cal has gotten very into rollerblading, and he went to a rollerblading birthday party at the roller skating rink in Florham Park, New Jersey, where I used to go when I was a kid to birthday parties. And I walked in, and it was exactly the same. And then I got to watch every other parent who entered, who grew up in the area, have a similarly crazy reaction to looking around and being like, like the same sort of brain synapses misfiring. And he was so bad at it that the other kids were like laughing at him. He kept wiping out. And then by the end of the party, he threw a tantrum. He was not thrilled with the reaction to him on roller skates. But then he was like, I'm making it happen. And by the end of the party, he was doing good. He felt good. And the nonsense stopped. And he was like, I want to get good at that. And we found out they teach classes. So he had every Saturday, I take him to the roller skating rink at 9 a.m. because they have a class. And the first day he was like, I'm scared. And I was like, you're going to be good, buddy. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And he's like, I need you to take the class with me. And I was like, please don't do this. Like, please, I'm begging you, don't do this. And we did it. And 4 weeks in a row, I took a children's rollerblading class with it. Not exclusively children. There were occasionally another parent in there. But he insisted on it. And luckily, my whole goal was like, don't fall down and get injured. And then he was getting good at all the little skills in the level 2 class. And then there was one day where thankfully, my back was hurting. And I was like, I can take you, but I can't rollerblade. My back is hurting. And he was okay with that. And then I was like, at the end of that class, I was like, just so you know, I'm never doing it again. Can't do this. And then they bumped him up to level 3. He's like, Daddy, I'm scared. You got to take level 3. I'm like, Cal, I physically cannot. That is a class taught by a bunch of 13-year-old girls in jackets that say Flora Park Skate Team. You skate backwards. At one point, they all crouch down on one leg with their butts almost on the ground and stick the other leg straight forward. I was like, I will wind up in the hospital. I cannot do it. And thankfully, he let me off the hook. And I didn't have to do a level 3 rollerblading class with him.
Well, I have 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
So first, did they have those little things like the walkers, and did you use it?
No, they don't even have those in these classes. They exist at the roller skating rink, but the classes, they don't. They're like, nope, you're in it. You got to learn.
Okay. And then second, did anyone get videos of you?
Thank God in heaven, no. It was really bad. It was real Bambi on the ice shit. It was bad. The other best thing about it is he's too much like me, this fucking kid. They have an open skate, like 15 minutes of open skating in a circle at the end. And between the 3 levels, there's like 100 kids there. And I would like skate around. But then when I've been watching them, since I'm not doing it anymore, I realized there's another kid in the classes with him, and he arbitrarily has decided that kid is his enemy, and his goal at the open skate is to always pass the other kid and go faster. And I have watched it over the weeks as the other kid has realized that my son is making this unnecessarily a contest, and the other kid just instantly was like, fine, fuck you then, let's go. And my son is having these quiet battles. He refers to him, he's like, Dad, you think my nemesis is going to be there today? I'm like, yeah, he's there every week. And then this kid has light up rollerblades, which Cal is so jealous of. And he's like, but I don't even care if he has light up rollerblades because he wears a helmet. And he was like making fun of the kid for wearing a helmet. And I was like, no. That's not like a knock on him. You're actually just pointing out that I'm a bad father. Like, you should have a helmet. I get you don't think that kid's cool because he wears a helmet, but that's on me. That is not on that child. Like, that's my fault. But Cal wants to destroy his nemesis every time. His nemesis is better at skating than he is. That's part of how I was like, dude, I'm not taking level 3. He's like, I want to keep taking level 2. I was like, then your nemesis is going to get better because he got bumped up to level 3. He's like, fine, fuck it, let's go. Like he didn't say fuck it, but in attitude, he certainly did. He certainly did.
Oh, he fucking rocks.
Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. What type of Carl did point out that we're here and you live in Chicago and you and I are both like, oh yeah, the East Coast where people have heard of the mob. Carl did point out you live in Chicago, and the way Carl phrased it was Chicago, not known for the mob at all.
Well, okay, I want to speak to this. I have a theory that because obviously Chicago's a union town, hell yeah, but not as strong anymore. And I believe that the mob needs to make a concerted comeback in order for unions to thrive again. And I'm just saying.
People are applauding the idea that the mob involvement in unions would have us bounce back. I mean, I'm very involved in my unions now. And I do think it is not a shock to me to see how very large united union actions get almost no press coverage. Because if they gave it the press coverage that allowed for momentum, it would fuck up our economy, and they don't want that. And it's wild to see that when the longshoremen shut down the West Coast, almost no articles about it. That general strike that happened just yesterday, I got the sense that tons and tons of people were participating. I'm seeing no writing about it. And I'm like, that shows how much power we have as a labor movement, is they don't want to validate it when we go big because they know we're one of the last things that can fuck them up. And it is interesting to think about. If we got the mob back on it too, that might push us past that tipping point where real change happens.
I'm telling you, Chris, because look, at the end of the day, even if they were skimming off the top, like, politicians do that now. And what are they doing for us?
I think you're not wrong. If the only mobsters are in the government, that's an imbalanced system, man. You need some other mobsters to counteract them. If they're going to act like the mob, we might as well get the real mob back. They did shit more ethically, honestly.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
This is a proudly pro-mafia podcast. I'm saying it right now.
Yeah.
I'm from Essex County, New Jersey. I know my roots, man. The mafia. It is kind of hard to argue that the mafia offered a counterbalance to government graft, and the weakening of the mafia has perhaps been a thing that's let the government graft run out of control. I mean, that there's a valid argument there.
Sorry. I'm calling into Detroit right now, right? Like, I was reading the book that the Irishman is based off of, and listen, Jimmy Hoffa, he fucking said, if you guys don't meet our demands, we're shutting down the country by morning.
Yo.
Like, the power that has, I mean, come on. First of all, cold as fuck. Like, hell yeah. And then on top of it, we could still do that. But who do we have?
Well,
we need the mafia
like
back.
I said, when it happens, it doesn't get enough press coverage. The longshoremen on the East Coast, a year or two ago, they were not giving the longshoremen on the East Coast AI protections. And a lot of foreign ports have a lot of mechanized and robotic systems replacing workers. And they were like, we're going to fight against that. And the president of the Longshoremen's Union on the East Coast, Port North Elizabeth, went on TV. And if you remember, he straight up was like,
yep.
You guys don't understand that if you don't give us what we want, the economy will shut down. And I believe his quote was like, you won't have bananas by Wednesday.
Bananas.
And,
yeah.
and the government was like, solve this shit now. We need the fucking bananas. Like, these guys aren't kidding. They could stop food from making its way to supermarkets everywhere. So they don't like giving us all that attention as unionists, but man, we might be the last hope.
Oh.
We also have Kendall, who says very specifically, the mob needs to make a comeback to destroy ICE, which that would be a crazy fight. That would be a crazy fight. Also, a couple follow-up questions for our past topic. Abdullah, who is also making me laugh by signing every email best regards, which is a very funny thing to do for this project. Wanted to know, when you had the unfortunate bleeding sex incident, did that happen in Chicago?
Yeah. It was my first 2 weeks back to school post when COVID started. So I started school in fall 2019, left in March 2020, and then I came back. Yeah.
And Angela wants to know, why didn't he take you to the hospital? Why did he take you back?
That was my fault. At the time, I was so like, probably most people in that room know the Mulaney bit of like, if somebody spilled soup in my lap, I would apologize. That was very much the headspace I was in, and I kept on telling him like, oh, no, it's fine, it's okay, I'll totally be okay, even though I already knew I was in the hospital. But I was just like, I'll spare him of this, which I know in retrospect is fucking insane.
Were you raised Catholic?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were. Do you apologize while you're bleeding to death and later come out of the closet? Yep, you're Catholic.
Oh, Chris, you don't understand. I was apologizing to the nurses changing my bedding as I was waiting to go into surgery. It's that serious.
You and I are similar people in many ways, I think. In similar ways. Danielle wrote in and said, now this is getting real wild, Detroit. Danielle wrote in and said, I will also accept the cartels taking out ICE. We are literally unironically cheering on criminal organizations against federal government thugs at this point, and not even kidding. Like, if Mexican cartels came into the country and took out ICE, we'd all be cheering. That's fucking nuts to think about. What is happening?
Listen, look, gangs and the mob were started to protect the communities in the first place. So what's so wrong about that coming back?
You got to realize, we release podcasts like this, and it's still, the show's smaller than it used to be, but it's still going to be like between 30 and 50,000 people hear it. And I'm telling you, I like that you're putting it out there, because I know the historical truth of what you're saying, and it's a dialogue they don't want. I want to just be clear on my end. I personally don't know that I need to endorse cartels storming America to fight federal agents. I just want to make sure that for anybody, I am certain that this part will be flagged. And I just want to say, this is ultimately, I do have roots as a comedian, even though this show is not always comedic. I will just say from my end, I'm having fun with that idea, but I don't personally want to see cartels. I would be more into the mafia because they do have more longer historical roots in the country. Anyway.
Listen, for legal reasons, this is all a joke.
Yeah,
for legal
legal reasons, we're joking, but also wouldn't mind it. What's it like being a lady in construction?
Well, it's not as fun without the mob involved. I'll tell you that much. It's very interesting. I mean, I'll tell you, like, I'm talking to you guys right now, but I am not nearly as interesting as some of these fucking guys that I work with, because, man, they tell me things that I don't even think they've confided in their wives about. And I think it's the only reason why is because I'm the only woman on site at any given time.
What do you do on the job sites?
So I'm an inspector. So I'm the one walking around just like, I tell people I'm a glorified babysitter and secretary, even though I have a literal degree in civil engineering. But I basically just go in, make sure they're installing things correctly, documenting it, and, submitting it for payment, taking photos and hanging out with the boys.
How much of a factor is hanging out with the boys for real?
It's major because listen, I don't blame contractors and workers for not fucking with engineers, because like we're technically working for the people they're working for, and we're looking out for our client. But what they don't understand, my dad works construction, so the first thing he told me was, just because you have a degree doesn't mean you know more than any of these fucking guys. And he's right, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing most of the time, and I'm just learning as it goes, because that's what most of construction is, which is probably why there's a lot of delays in road work. I hate to break it to everybody. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Oh, Angela has a great question. Do you ever have any feelings about those caution men working signs around construction sites?
Not particularly. The thing I have beef with is bathroom availability.
I was going to ask about this.
Trust me, it is infuriating. Like, I used to be at certain sites where I would be there, and actually in my current field office that I have, the bathroom's always fucking locked. And for whatever reason, the woman's bathroom is the only one with like a lock and key. And I don't have a key, and my company never had to like worry about it because there's never really any women around. And the like landlord is refusing to like give us a key, so I just have to like walk and hope that somebody left the door open or something, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's not cool. I got a buddy in Jersey, Bonaduce. He's a surveyor, union guy, and works on job sites. Like, he rebuilt, he did all the surveying, rebuilding the runways at Newark Airport. Like, huge job. There's a bridge that goes from Jersey to Staten Island, the Bayonne Bridge, and they had to raise it to allow modern ships to be able to pass under. And they had to go in the middle of the night. He strapped up at the top of the bridge with his surveying equipment, doing the surveying. His buddy slipped and fell, and the rigging they were on caught him. And they're like radioing down the surveying results to the guys raising this bridge, like hardcore union construction guy. And he has told me many times that porta potties on construction sites that he never understands. Like, we all got to use these things, and sometimes we're in the middle of the night and they're the only option we have, but consistently they become the most fucked up, disgusting bathroom environments he's ever seen. And it drives him crazy because he's like, this is our option. Why are we doing this when we're already using porta potties, sometimes in the freezing cold in the middle of winter at 3:30 in the morning? He says that you would not believe what a porta potty looks like on a construction site.
Oh, it's rancid. And, the stuff that I've actually encountered is not nearly as bad as what my dad has encountered over the years. Like, he has walked into porta potties and, like, on the site and literally seen, like, used needles, like, shooters out, like, back in the olden days, which is, like, literally not even 2 decades ago. But, like, that's the shit he saw. But I just see shit and piss everywhere, which is fucking ridiculous.
Bonaduce also told me, and I wonder if you've done this too, that job site safety videos that are shown to union construction workers are some of like the most horrific borderline snuff films you can imagine.
We're going to pause because ads are what makes the capitalism of this show run. So we've got some. We'll be right back. Thanks so much. Scaling a business takes the right expertise at the right time. Upwork is there to help you. They help you grow teams, quickly bring in specialized freelancers. You can move faster. You can take your business to the next level. Upwork is a one-stop platform to find, hire, and pay expert freelancers across web and software development, data and analytics, marketing, business operations, and so much more. Upwork helps grow your business by giving you fast access to specialized talent across 125 plus categories so you can fill skill gaps. You can launch projects faster. You can scale support up or down without committing to a full-time headcount. You can browse profiles, review past work, and get help scoping the role so you can hire with confidence and get started quickly. With Business Plus, you can access the top 1% of talent on Upwork, and with AI-powered shortlisting, you'll get matched to the right freelancer in under 6 hours. There's no endless searching required. Upwork also cuts down operational hassle by handling things like contracts and payments in one place, so you can spend more time actually running your business. Thousands of growing businesses already trust Upwork to hire flexible, high-quality freelance talent for everything from one-off projects to ongoing support. It's free to sign up, and posting a job is easy. Visit Upwork.com right now. Post your job for free. That's Upwork.com to connect with top talent ready to help your business grow. That's UPWORK.com, Upwork.com. This episode is brought to you, of course, by our exclusive snack, hydration, and coffee sponsor. I'm talking about IQ Bar, and I love this company. IQ Bar, those are the protein bars. IQ Mix, that's the hydration mixes. IQ Joe, that's the mushroom coffees. These are the delicious low-sugar brain and body fuel you need to win your day. It's the new year. That means a new clean slate. You can go ahead. Everybody's looking to transform, right? Well, one thing you can do is transform your frustration into fuel for your body. You can power your day with IQ Bar, the ultimate sampler pack. It's a great way to try all the IQ Bar products and flavors. You get 9 IQ bars. You get 8 IQ Mix sticks. You get 4 IQ Joe sticks. And you can change your whole morning routine with that IQ Joe. My wife drinks it every day. She makes it super quick. She flips out for it. She loves it. It's a mushroom coffee designed for mental clarity and packed with 200 milligrams of natural caffeine. Comes in 4 different flavors. It's better than any brewed coffee. The new year gives us all a chance to reset. Go ahead and maximize your brain and body's potential with IQ Bars, protein bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. Their ultimate sampler pack includes all 3. And I cannot stress enough, my wife loves the IQ Joe, loves her coffee sticks, asked for them for Christmas, does a little dance while making them. She is not doing that to show off or try to be cute for me. She's doing that because she can't control herself because she loves coffee sticks so much. That's what she calls them, the IQ Joe. That's coffee sticks in my household. I love the IQ bars. I have them for breakfast many mornings. I always have a few in my bag when I travel. Incredible grab-and-go snack. And the IQ Mix, I think, is the most underrated product in their slate. I'm a huge proponent of it. Anytime, first of all, if I'm on the run and I realize I have not drank enough water today, throw the IQ Mix in there. You just straight up feel better. And when it's cold season, flu season, and you want to stay ahead of being healthy, staying hydrated, IQ Mix has been a lifesaver for me so many times. And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off of all IQ Bar products, including the Ultimate Sampler Pack, plus free shipping. To get your 20% off, text BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Text BEAUTIFUL to 64000. That's BEAUTIFUL to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details. Thanks again to our advertisers. Now we're going to finish off the phone call.
Bonaduce also told me, and I wonder if you've done this too, that job site safety videos that are shown to union construction workers are some of like the most horrific borderline snuff films you can imagine.
Oh my God, it is in there. To this, I could tell you a literal module that I remember to this day. 40-hour fucking Haswapper seminar. I'm taking it, and it's this fucking video of like a styrofoam head, and they were trying to show the importance of safety glasses. And they shot a fucking nail gun right into the head, and like I don't know how they rigged it. Like they must have had some like VFX people there or something, but blood was in the head and it just fucking shot out. I was like
I know this makes me a weirdo. I would pay good money to access these types of training videos.
I think I have a video of it. I'm not even joking, because it took me by so much surprise. I was like, where does OSHA get the fucking budget to have this production value?
Oh, that's amazing. I feel like this is a whole undiscovered genre of video that will whip around the internet someday when people realize they're just sitting there for the taking.
Absolutely, and it's a lost art, honestly.
Kendall sent a couple emails. Kendall's really contributing greatly to the show.
Thank you, Kendall.
Wants to know, what's the worst injury you've ever seen firsthand on the job? What's the wildest thing you've ever found on a construction site? Says perhaps the dead body. And also sent a separate email that in all caps says the words, ICE is a criminal organization. So contributing all around.
Very true.
What are we thinking? Injuries? You ever found a dead body?
I've never seen it. Luckily, I haven't seen any injuries, but I've been a part of like full-on explosions and near-death experiences like that I almost bore witness to. I used to do like utility work on a site, and we were excavating and we found this utility, and like, I mean, in Chicago, it's a very old city. There are utilities everywhere, and a lot of times when you stop using a service, they don't take it out. They just like leave it. And so it's not on plans or something like that. So we're there digging and we hit this thing and it was an explosion. Like I'm not like a huge fucking like pop fire, whatever. Luckily nothing caught on fire, but we're all standing there and we're like, okay, what the fuck was that? And then all of a sudden, all the people from the surrounding buildings, this was, I'll say a rail site. All the fucking workers come out and are like, where the fuck is the power? We accidentally shut off the power to half the site. But I was like 10 feet away and there was a guy standing right next to it in the hole when it happened. And he didn't get killed or lit on fire somehow. And then another time we once almost hit a saw cutter, almost hit a 480 volt line, which would not be good at all. Actually, I just remembered I saw a guy jump from a fucking bridge running from the police.
Yo. While on the job?
The site that we were on, we were like underneath an overpass thing, and it was near a specific river in Chicago. But the guy was like, I was standing there and the cops were chasing him and he was running over it and he jumped off the bridge into like the banks of the river. And then we were just like we weren't close to it, but we could see him. We weren't sure if he was like dead or not. And then we saw movement and he ran away, but then we didn't see the end of it.
That is a crazy middle act to witness. No context, no resolution. That's wild.
I felt like it was a part of like Mission Impossible cutscene or something.
We just got an email. It says, I used to be an engineer in a UAW plant and they would tell me the most insane shit. I got to hear some more construction worker stories. Best regards, Abdullah.
There's always one there because I would always joke with the guys that they are very like homoerotic for being straight burly construction guys. Okay, they don't tell you that they make the most sexually suggestive jokes to each other the entire day. That's how the days go by on construction sites. Basically, that's a secret they don't want the public to know. But I was addressing this comment and I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird, guys, whatever. And one of the guys, which I can't even go into detail about because it's so specific that I don't have his consent, but I'll just say he was a sex addict, a drug addict, and all of those things in the live before, and that was a man of God. But anyways, stops in the middle of us and says, yeah, and I feel like I'm the only one to make a joke about stuff like that because I'm the only one here who's had their dick sucked by a guy. And when I say, we all just went silent, and we were like, what? And he goes, yeah, but I could confidently say it wasn't for me.
So every construction site is basically like 30 seconds away from being heated rivalry.
Yes, absolutely. I wish, actually.
I like that you're laughing about it, but it also does sound, it sounds like a real double-edged sword, because on one level, you're saying it's homoerotic, but there's also, it's right on the edge of homophobic, but you're also being welcomed in as one of the guys, but you're also queer, which you've mentioned.
Uh-huh.
That's got to be a weird line for you to walk at times of like, how much of this is bonding and actually part of this culture and in some ways reflective of acceptance, and how much of this is just not okay? You must think about it.
I think about it constantly, because it's like I'm, yet again, the only woman around at a given point. And it's like, I know I'm going into their environment. I don't want them to like feel like they have to change their ways because, I'm just coming in there and like, it's unnatural for a woman to come into their environment, which sounds crazy, but it's just the truth. And I always make a joke with them, but also like I seriously mean it, where I'm like, guys, like if I feel like you're sexually harassing me or something, like I'll at least tell you first so we could talk about it and make sure it doesn't happen again, which like I say jokingly, but it does work. Like I've been on certain sites for like at least a year or whatever, and I'll be with them and they'll say something and they'll be like, was that too far? Oh, sorry. Was that too far?
Andrea's on it.
Was that too far? Whatever, or my bad, or, anything like that. So it's like a weird line to always walk on. There's definitely, I always try to keep the fact that I'm queer, not available to them, because like I've encountered scenarios where they're like, oh man, so then like we could talk about whatever, let's talk about tits and everything. And I'm like, well, I'm still a woman, which is so it's a tightrope to walk on an everyday basis.
It also is, and this is a joke, but there's a lot of truth to it too, where you go, if there's ever an HR complaint that comes down that says, hey, everybody's reports of a lot of homophobic comments here, so we got to have some sort of training or seminar on that. Everybody's going, well, it's either the lesbian or the guy who gets his dick sucked by the guys. We know exactly who. It's got to be one of those two people.
Yeah, but it's just like, I think a lot of these guys, they would prefer to just be upfront about things, because I feel like they respect this. What's the word? They don't respect people who go above their heads as much as if you were to go to them first.
They want the
and I think it's just like,
yeah,
exactly, yeah, and yeah. So I've honestly really not had any issues with a lot of contractors. I've had more issues with my actual like engineering peers than anything, which is really interesting.
You got a cool life.
Cool. Oh my God, thank you.
Kimmy has sent an email that is. Kimmy has sent an email that is going to be hard for me to read fully without cracking up. And Kimmy, I thank you for this. The world would be a much better place if the men could get all their frustrations out at a construction orgy rather than offloading all their problems on the women in their lives. And
absolutely. And you know what? I feel like I'm the sacrificial lamb in a lot of ways, because like I said, they tell me a lot of things that I don't think they've ever confided in their wives about. And you know what? If that's like the sacrifice I have to make, then I'll take it, because a lot of the times I'm a therapist on site. Most of the time against my will, they just do it, and as long as it's not anger or frustration, whatever.
Yeah. It's cool. All right. Construction, Big fan of the mob. Used to work for them indirectly. What else? Almost died via sex. I once drive an ambulance. I volunteer and do it. And I will tell you, I once answered a call where a young couple had sex and she had a seizure during it. And it was very strange for me to enter a situation where, as the EMTs were helping her, I, the driver who is not qualified, was just standing there awkwardly with an 18-year-old boy who was so sweetly terrified that he may have killed her. And it was wild. So I saw another version of that unfold before my eyes. And by the way, he thought I had medical training, and I was like, no, I'm a literal idiot. I just drive an ambulance. Yeah, like I can't offer you nothing.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
Someone in the crowd, I think, is hitting on you. Do you want me to read the email?
Sure.
Someone sent a pretty slick email that says, does she like tall women or is she taken? Which I think is I think is a tall woman in the crowd saying she likes your vibe.
Well, thank you. And yeah, I'll say I like your vibe as well. And I am single and like people of all heights.
Single and of all heights. I like that. Good to know. Good to know. Also just revealed that she's married, but says she's willing to meet her spouse. We've got about 13 minutes left. What else do you have on the agenda that we want to get to?
I mean, I also mentioned I love movies. I'm a frequent moviegoer, proud AMC A-list defender and wielder of. That's the other thing that I fill my time with when I'm not on construction sites or dying.
Yeah. I feel like it's been a very, very quick shift with Americans' relationship to movie theaters. It was not that long ago that I would go to movie theaters and they would be significantly more well attended than now. And it feels like a bummer.
Yeah.
It feels like we're moving on from a tradition that's been a part of our lives for many, many decades.
But, I think that the tides are changing. As somebody, I love I go to movies probably at least once or twice a week. And over the years, at the very least, since I've been in Chicago, the attendance has gone more and more up. Like last night, I went to go see Sam Raimi's new movie, Send Help, which to watch a fucking original Sam Raimi movie, kind of horror, insane. And it was a nearly sold out crowd on a Friday night. It's really awesome to see. I think things are definitely, I'm also in a major city, so who's to say? But from what I've seen, I think it's kind of changing, hopefully.
Yeah, me too, man. We can't let the movie theaters die. And then now the streamers are making movies, and then they put them in the theater for 10 days to get awards consideration and yank them. No, let them be a part of our lives. Katie wants to know what's your Letterboxd top 4?
Ooh, Chris, I was going to ask you that question.
Katie beat me to
it. Okay, so it's not pretentious. I wish it was a little bit more, but my number 1 is When Harry Met Sally. My number 2 is The Worst Person in the World. My number 3 is Boogie Nights, and my number 4 is The Social Network at the moment.
Wow. Okay. I don't have great taste, and when I don't in anything, but what I do have is that when I fall in love with something, I fall in love with it deeply and forever. So I would say my number. Oh, and I'm so psyched to get to say this in Detroit. I wasn't even thinking of it. My number 1 movie is set right near here. It's called Grosse Pointe Blank. It's
oh hell yeah!
It's great. Late 90s movie where John Cusack is an assassin returning to his high school reunion in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Great movie. Number 2 is probably Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Number 3, I tell you, I did not watch this movie for years because I was like, it's a Christmas movie and they all kind of follow the same plot. And based on the title, I can tell it starts with the character who's one way, and then by the end, redemption, Merry Christmas. And then someone was like, no, you missed the boat. And I watched it and immediately was like, Bad Santa is one of my favorite movies. Bad Santa is the most fucking insane movie that's ever been actually produced and released in a theater. I watched it and like 12 minutes in was like, this was in theaters? And that movie, I have since gone on to go and read everything about it. The idea that script floated around for years and everyone who read it was like, this is amazing. You can't ever make this. And then eventually they fucking made it and it's that good. And that is by far one of the most fucked up and inappropriate movies I've ever seen in all the right ways. And it has my favorite joke. I'm about to spoil it. If you haven't seen it, just watch it. If you're listening, you get to pause the episode if you want, or skip 30 seconds ahead. To the room in Detroit, I'm sorry. The idea that he is interacting with a child for the entire film, and then in the last 8 minutes, the child hands him his report card. He looks at it and goes, Thurman. Who's Thurman? Wait, is your name Thurman? And you realize he has not asked the child his fucking name for the entire time. It makes me cry laughing every time I see that fucking movie. And there was one time where my mother-in-law came over around Christmas, and Hallie was like, we got to watch a movie. What should we sit down and watch with my mom? I was like, I got this. And we put fucking Bad Santa on, and I literally put it on just to watch my mother-in-law's reaction out of the corner of my eye. And holy shit, it made it even better. That movie fucking rules. And then, number 4 is probably, some combination of the Star Wars trilogy and the Warriors and any number of rotating things that really affected who I was as a kid.
Hell yeah. I was going to say my favorite Christmas movie is Eyes Wide Shut.
Your favorite Christmas movie is Eyes Wide Shut?
Yep.
Now that movie I felt like a bit of a misfire when it came out, but the sense I get is that people watching it now are like, no, actually he was just way ahead of the conversation, and that there's been a reclamation of Eyes Wide Shut, right?
Yes, like listen, Tom Cruise is so specifically able to capture a pathetic man in such a way I can't even describe, and it just makes it even more magical watching it. And then also the fact that they play it in theaters here around Christmas time. They probably do it in Detroit too. Someone confirmed that, but it's a blast.
Is it also just on a basic level, as more information comes out about like billionaire elitist between Diddy and Epstein and weird sex stuff, that Eyes Wide Shut just feels less like, what the fuck is this? And more like, oh, that's what they're up to? Is that part of it?
I think it's helping people get down to the main point of it, which is that it's a story about a man that is so insecure about the idea of his wife fucking somebody else that he goes to a secret sex cabal party to prove a point. I think that's the main, thing you should walk away with when watching that movie. I think everyone goes in for the cabal shit and they're disappointed.
But you would argue that if you view it as the dissection of an insecure man, that it takes on all new meanings.
Absolutely.
Love that. Kendall says that if I go to a movie theater on Free Popcorn Tuesday, I'll get back that feeling of a crowded movie theater, which I like. But it does sound like, Kendall, you might specifically live near a theater that has something called Free Popcorn Tuesday. Yeah. And I just want you to know, not all theaters have that. If they did, I would definitely know about it. But I'm psyched you live near one specific theater that has Free Popcorn Tuesday. None of the theaters near me have that. They should.
Although I think AMC is starting a popcorn subscription thing similar to A-List. That could be a lie, but I remember seeing it on the app.
Popcorn subscription, you say? What would this entail?
I don't know. I don't know the specifics. We're gonna need a research on that. But yeah, it's like you pay a flat thing per month, and then I guess you get a certain amount of popcorn per week or something. I know they're starting something.
What would you say your best unexpected experience in a theater is?
Oh, well, okay. So I was, this was really, it's just my own personal annoyance. I was at the Music Box Theater in Chicago, one of the best fucking theaters in the country. And they were showing a 35 millimeter print of The Shining. And there was this man sitting behind me that was eating popcorn in the loudest way possible. Like the most obnoxious. You could imagine him like, shaking it in his hand, throwing it up in the air and like catching it. Like that's how loud.
That's wild.
And during The Shining, I was turning into Jack Torrance himself. Like, I fully understand what he was going through up there.
Wait, and you say that's your best experience in a theater?
Oh, I thought you said worst.
No, I said best. And then you described everyone's nightmare. You described why people don't like to go to the movies.
I thought you said worst. No one ever asked me for best.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to keep things positive. I can tell you mine and why you think yours.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm like, I don't want to watch all my movies at home. I don't even people have home theaters. I'm like, sometimes it needs to be communal. I think it was, if I remember right, I lived in Los Angeles for a few brief months. I think it was early 2004. It was either 2003 or 2004. And I learned so quick. I like Los Angeles a lot. I'm not a Los Angeles hater, but I did learn so quickly. If you are prone to loneliness, goddamn, that city is that. Los Angeles loneliness is lonelier than any lonely that has ever lonelied. That is a lonely city when you are lonely. And I was there. I was young. I was depressed. I was working, and there were some positive elements of it. But when it would hit me, it was so bad. But there was this place called the ArcLight Cinemas, which I think is closed, sadly, on Sunset. And it was like everyone was talking like they got like the actual Hollywood cinematographers to pick out the screens and figure out the placement of the projectors, and then they got working Hollywood sound union members to figure out all the sound systems and the closest. I remember one of the things was the first row of seats in all of their theaters was far enough back that if you folded the screen down, the seats would be that far away. So there were no bad sight lines, and it was an amazing theater. So when I was feeling really down, I would just go to the ArcLight and see what was playing and just go see it based on the time I was there. Because it was always a pleasant experience because the theater itself was so great. And I went in, and I was just like, here's what's up next. I guess I'll go see this movie. And for people who have seen it, I think you would agree to know nothing about this movie and go in and just watch it in a perfectly designed theater. It was City of God, about the gang, the kids in the gangs in the favelas of Brazil. And I watched that movie, no foreknowledge of it, packed theater, brilliant fucking, like, borderline perfect movie, great soundtrack, insane period costumes, and just walked away being like, I think I just learned about a whole other part of the world that I didn't even know existed before this movie. And it was the perfect movie-going experience I've ever had.
Hell yeah.
What about you? That time that lunatic threw popcorn up in the air?
Not quite, no. Okay, so two came to mind. One of which was when I saw The Substance for the first time in theaters. Watching everybody squirm like that, including myself, just all together, was magical. Like, it was so fucking fun to be a part of, and just everyone experiencing such like visceral feelings like that. It was amazing. And then my second one was, oh my god, October. It's a flex for any cinephiles in the fucking room. But I saw Parasite in October of 2019 for Chicago Film Festival, knowing nothing about it. I had just seen about it on Twitter, all the stuff, and I was like, okay, I'll just go into it. Sold out theater, all this stuff. I can't even describe the energy in that theater. It was incredible. And then to watch it win Best Picture, all of it wrapped in one. Yeah, just anything that has that energy like that, where you're watching something that you know is like not only changing yourself, but also changing like the landscape of film as we know it. It's pretty special.
I gotta say, I like talking to somebody who hangs out all day on construction sites and then watches cool artsy movies at night. That's a good mix. I will say, Andrea just realized, Andrea put it in the subject line, divisive. AMC Popcorn Pass is a racket. Get 50% off a large popcorn every day. Get yours for just $29.99 plus tax. You got to pay $30 a month, and then you only get 50% off. I see why you say that's a racket, Andrea. But as mentioned, our caller does support the mafia, so maybe a racket is right up their alley. Right up their alley. I don't know if that popcorn pass is worth the price you're paying.
Hey, I did say I supported it. I knew it was happening.
Caller, we have...
which is a...
Oh, which is a what?
I would say which is a mob answer, but...
We have about 45 seconds left, so I want to make sure I say thank you. This call has been lovely. I want to thank everybody in Detroit for contributing a lot of questions, a lot of activism, and a lot of, before we started recording, let's be honest, anti-Chicago rhetoric. And if you have any closing words for the free feed before we do the 5 questions caller, I'd love to hear your closing words.
Well, I hope I was able to change. Of course, an ambulance is going by right now. Maybe Chicago does suck. I hope I changed perception about Chicago a bit. And Detroit, you fucking rock. Thank you for listening to me on a Saturday night.
Thanks to everybody for being here. Thanks to Andrea. Thanks to the Sanctuary. Thanks to everybody who organized the show. I'm going to jump off stage, and then momentarily, if you want to say hi, I'll be in the back. Andrea drove all the way to Chicago, and because of that, we were able to bring merch, which we almost never do. And Allison, your first contribution is to say, I love Diet Coke. I like you more now. This is the first email you sent, is at the very end. That's a hilarious email to send. Maria wants to know if my friend replied. He has not yet, but if he does between now and when I leave, I will make sure I tell everybody that hangs out. All right. Thank you guys all so much. It sounds like my friend Randy won't be able to hang out and get food. That's okay, Randy. I still love you. Also, my friend Randy, we got to know each other because Randy legitimately almost died of COVID very early. And none of us really understood what it was. And his friends were all punk rockers in Gainesville that thought it would be funny to have me do cameos for Randy, which, looking back on it, is a cruel thing to do. And it was upwards of a dozen cameos. And this was a whole saga that went on. And we become good friends, and we catch up on the phone. Anytime I'm on a road trip by myself, I call Randy, and we talk for a while and see how he's doing. And the weird thing happened that I don't know if you clocked, Randy, and this is the type of thing I can only say on stage because I'm bad at sentimental conversations in real life. But the last time we talked on the phone before we hung up, you just quietly said, I love you. And I went, I love you too. And then we got off the phone, and I realized that I have never exchanged the words I love you with my dad, but I have exchanged them with Randy, the guy who I met because he almost died of COVID, which is what a great way for a relationship to develop. Anyway, I'm going to catch up with Randy and Jessica a little bit too, and then we'll sell some merch. You guys have been the best. I always love my travels in Detroit. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and have a great night. Thank you so, so much. Thanks for supporting the show.
This week on Beautiful Anonymous Plus, here's some of what you'll get from the 5 questions.
Yeah, I turned to my friend and her older sister that we were there with, and I was like, I'm about to faint. And I pretty much went down. They caught me, and then luckily the crowd surrounding was very nice. And they brought me right to the front and took me back.
If you mentioned this already, I missed it. Who were you seeing when you passed out in their pit and had to be rescued?
It's embarrassing, but 21 Pilots. I was in high school.
What a way to die.
Don't forget to sign up for Beautiful Anonymous Plus at beautifulanonymous.com.